Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is a pretty good one, pretty crazy one, as you could tell by the title. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. And yeah, let's just get into it. Also, actually, before we get into it, I hope you guys had a great Christmas. Okay, completely forgot that it's the day after Christmas. Hope you all got the gifts that you were asking for. Hope you got to see your family. Hope you got to see people you love, hang out with people you love. And hopefully it was great, you know? Mine was pretty cool. Hung out with my family, my dad, and my dad's side of the family. It was awesome. And I got some pretty interesting gifts, and I gave some cool gifts. Anyway, yeah, hope you guys had an awesome Christmas. Now let's get on into the story time. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day in 2016. 2016 was a pretty interesting year for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people look back on 2016 fondly. I am one of those people. And this is one of my fond memories in 2016. So this all starts off as a regular day in 2016. I was sitting in my room working on a YouTube video, just like I am right now. Kind of how most of my story times start. And I was just finishing it up. I was like just finishing up the edit on the video. And I remember I was really excited because I was going to be going out with some friends later that night. And we're going to be doing a little bit of shroomage, okay? We're going to be taking some mushrooms together, at my friend's house, hanging there for the night. And I hadn't done these in a long time, so I was definitely a little bit nervous, but also kind of excited. So that was what was going on in my head. And after I got done with my video and rendered it and got it on YouTube, I went out to the living room where my mom was sitting on the couch. And I was like, hey, can I go to my friend's house tonight? And she was like, sure. And I went in my room, grabbed my backpack, and I went to my friend's house. I walked there. It was only a mile away from my mom's. And yeah, hung out with him for most of the night. We did the shrooms. Everything was good there. Everything was great. But it was the next day where this story time really starts off, okay? So after I'd waken up the next day, the next morning at my friend's house, and we had finished tripping and, everything went well, I asked my friend, I was like, hey, can I buy some shrooms off you to take home? And he's like, sure. Are you going to trip alone? I was like, I might. I don't know. I just want to bring some home. He's like, yeah, man, I got you. So I bought, some shrooms from my friend. I can't remember the exact amount. I think it was like 70 or 80 bucks worth. So it's definitely enough, more than enough for me, or another person if I want to do it with someone else. And I put the shrooms in my backpack. I proceeded to say goodbye to all my homies and then walk back to my house. Got inside. My mom was at work. I went into my bedroom. I laid down for a bit, scrolled some Twitter, fell back asleep like an idiot. And I woke up a couple hours later to something that I did not want to wake up to, okay? So a couple hours later, I woke up from my nap because, I was still tired from the night before. I wake up from my nap, right, to my mom holding the bag of shrooms over my head. And she was like, what are these? Now, I had a pretty mixed reaction. On one hand, I was definitely shitting myself because I just got caught by my mom with shrooms. On the other hand, at this point, I was an adult. I was 18. It was 2016, so I was doing YouTube full time. Things were a lot more chill between me and my mom, like less strict because I was almost an adult and I had the YouTube stuff going on and that was pretty independent of me. So she was like trusting me more, right? So I just told her, I was like, they're shrooms. She's like, I thought you quit doing this shit years ago. I was like, yeah, on and off, yeah, but it's not like an addiction. I just do them sometimes. And she was like, do you know how scary these things can be? And I was like, I don't know. Do you have experience with them? She was like, a little bit, yeah. When I was your age, I definitely did a little bit. And I'm like, okay, do you want to do some more now? And she was like, fuck off. And she threw them at me. So she gave them back to me, which is kind of crazy because back in the day, that would usually not happen. But like I said earlier, me and my mom's relationship at this point were a lot more relaxed. But anyway, story time does not end there, okay? It gets a lot better. So fast forward like 5 or 6 hours later. At this point, it's nighttime. I think it's like 8 or 9. And I'm just chilling on my computer, playing some Counter-Strike, as I did. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to do those shrooms. Fuck it. I'm going to do them by myself and hopefully have a good trip, right? So I go on my desk where I had the shrooms. I pull them out and I start unwrapping them. And of course, the minute I unwrap them and start putting them in my mouth, my mom opens the door. And she was walking into my room to ask me about laundry. She opened the door and she was like, hey, what do you need washed? And then right after she says that, she saw me holding this bag of shrooms about to eat them. And she was like, oh, damn it. Like, what did I just walk into? And I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, holy shit, like, you're doing them right now? And I was like, yeah, they're not going to kill me. I'll be fine. And she walks into my room and she takes a look at them under the light. And she's like, what do they taste like? I haven't had them in a long time. And I was like, I don't really like the taste of them. They don't taste very good. They're kind of dry and weird. Texture's kind of odd. She was like, yeah, I remember them being kind of weird. And she reaches in the bag and she grabs one. and she takes a tiny bite of one. And I was like, whoa, is this happening right now? She was like, shut up. Now she's chewing on it, and she's like, it's not too bad. I've had worse. And I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. And she was like, let me get another one. And I was like, do you know that these things, like, make you trip, Mom? Like, if you eat enough of these, you're going to start seeing things, like they're shrooms. She was like, yeah, I know what they do. I'll be fine. And I'm like, is this happening right now? Like, you would literally ground me for 5 months if this was, like, a year ago. Like, are you sure this is real? She's like, just shut up. Like, we're fine. And I was like, okay. So we eat them together. She ate not that many. Definitely enough to see a little bit of some visuals, but not enough to, like, send you into fucking orbit. I ate a little bit more than her. And she just went back into her room after this and left me to play CSGO. And fast forward, like, I don't know, a couple hours later, I'm having a pretty good trip. Things really aren't out of the ordinary for me. Things are going great. And I decided to go check on her because I wanted to see how she was doing. And I walked into her room. She was just laying on her bed watching Friends. And I was like, hey, how are things going in here? And she's just smiling. She's like, good, great, like really, really good. And I was like, you having good, side effects from the you-know-what? And she was like, yeah, honestly, really good. Like, good experience. And yeah, my mom was having like a very mellow, nice trip. And after that, I just went back into my room, finished out the night, played some CSGO. And then the next morning, I woke up and I walked in the kitchen and she was making coffee. And I was like, hey, how are you doing? She's like, good. How about you? I was like, I'm good. Did you have a nice trip? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm asking that. She was like, yeah, I actually really did. Like, they put me in like a way better mood than I thought they would. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what they call microdosing. It's not quite the same as microdosing, because microdosing is a lot smaller doses, but, the dose you took was still, pretty light, so you probably didn't see a whole lot, but probably still enjoyed yourself. Am I right? She's like, yeah, I saw a couple things, I was like, what do you see? And she was like, that painting in my room with the waterfall? And I was like, yes, she has this painting of a waterfall. And she goes, I shit you not, at one point in the night, shortly after I ate those shrooms, I looked at that painting, and I looked at it real, real hard, and I swear that water was fucking moving. The waterfall was moving. And I was like, yep, that's the shrooms talking. And she was like, I know, but it still freaked me out. And I was like, yeah, well, still could be worse. And yeah, the whole rest of that day was relatively normal, and I just could not wait to jump on YouTube and tell the story of how I was able to eat shrooms with my mom. Like, no one really has a story like that, I feel like. Not many people, at least. And here I am telling it all these years later. I kind of waited a little bit until, she wouldn't care, and here we are. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.